Joining us
Thank you.
now, meteorologist and analyst Alan Gerard. He retired in March after almost 35 years with the National Weather Service and NOAA. Most recently, he was director of a group dedicated to improving warnings and forecasts at NOAA's National Severe Storm Lab, which is in danger of closing due to budget cuts. Alan, it's really good to have you. What do you think needs to happen now?
Well, I mean, obviously the first thing is, just having listened to the story you just told is just heartbreaking, and knowing that there's literally dozens of people going through that. I mean, I think that, we do need to understand what happened and try to learn from it. My entire career has basically been about trying to work to make our technology forecast warnings better so that fewer people have to go through the tragedies like what we just heard. And I definitely think that in a sensitive way, we really need to look at what happened here and see how we can do things better going forward.
In terms of a warning system, I know sirens, they were taken off the table years ago because of the cost. They are very expensive. But I mentioned to Lorena, our last guest, the NOAA weather radio. And this is something that I've got friends who have it when they go camping. Can you explain what that is and how it works and how it might have helped in a situation like this?
Sure. So a NOAA weather radio is essentially a specially built receiver that will automatically turn itself on when it receives a signal from a NOAA transmitter that indicates that a warning is in effect. You can program it so it will only go off for when there's a warning in your county. And for areas like this, particularly where cell phone coverage is not great, we do have FEMA's wireless emergency alert system now, which will go off when certain levels of flash flood warnings are issued, and which were issued for this event, fairly early on. And, some people's cell phones have been reported that they got it off their cell phone and took action. But the NOAA weather radio is another way, and you're not relying upon cell signal. It's just the radio, as long as you're within range of a radio transmitter.
I think it's such a helpful thing to have, and it will really protect you in a case where water starts rising or there's a storm that's very sudden. And I like that it automatically clicks on.
Right. Well, and one of the things that we really try to emphasize is there's no magic bullet solution in a situation like this. You need to have redundant ways to receive a warning. Especially when you're in a particularly vulnerable area like this. The Texas Hill Country is, known as Flash Flood Alley. It is a very prone to these types of floods. As you mentioned, there was a similar type flood on this very river in 1987 that took a number of lives. And we just want people to be safe. That's really the key here. And and have ways to receive the warnings.
So on that, let's look forward. There's a lot of talk about budget cuts and DOGE cuts and whether they affected this, and there's disagreement. But in the future, if the administration is proposing, to have NOAA's budget and to cut out money from the research arm of NOAA, is that going to affect the ability to forecast, to research, make predictions about this extreme weather climate that we are currently living in? I know we talk about how unpredictable it is and how the storms are changing. Wouldn't that help us understand how the storms are changing and how better to predict them?
Yeah, it would seem to me, I've heard, officials at all levels of government in press conferences and interviews this weekend talk about our need to improve our capacity to warn and forecast for these type of events. And just being honest, if we eliminate NOAA's Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, which is where I worked, where the National Severe Storms Lab that does the research for NOAA to improve these warnings, if it were closed, I don't see any way how we're going to improve these types of warnings. And I think one of the things, what we're really trying to build toward is the ability to tell people before the rain even starts falling, that this kind of a rainfall event could occur in the next several hours with enough with enough confidence that people will take action and evacuate. Obviously, evacuating a popular campground area like this on the 4th of July weekend is a huge decision, and we it's as I heard one of your folks say, you can't do it every time there's a heavy rain in the forecast. But on the flip side, if we had advanced modeling and forecasting that would be able to tell you there's a pretty high chance that this area is going to get 6 to 9 inches of rain in 3 hours tonight, that's a whole different situation. We don't have that capability right now, but with research and developments that we're doing at like the National Severe Storms Lab, we could within the next several years.
Yeah. I've been to the National Severe Storms Lab in Norman, Oklahoma, and I've met the scientists that work there and the researchers, the modelers. You guys do heroes work. It's an incredible place to visit. I do hope somebody from the administration gets a chance to go down there and see it for themselves when they consider these cuts. Alan Gerard, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.